So I'm here with Dominic Mescone from Northern Karate School, and I'm still trying to get his name right, but we're working on it. How are we doing today, Dominic?
Very good. How about you?
Good. So you have the challenge of keeping Kimberly Byback extremely focused and keeping her mind clear. How's that going?
It's going really well. She's a very focused individual. It's just a little bit of pushing here and there, but I take pride in being able to do that.
Now you're considered a Kyoshi. Did I get that right? So tell us what that is.
So in karate, you once you get to a certain level, you have teaching titles. So it's just a representation of the years that I've put in as an instructor. So Kyoshi is one of the levels that we have.
Okay, and how did you? Is this your school? So how did you get into karate? You've been doing that your whole life?
Yeah, so I started karate when I was 8 years old. My mother and father put me in. I was a kid who was failing grade 5. I was also, I also used to get into a lot of fights in school. So I had a lot of discipline issues, and my parents thought karate would probably be something that would be good to get me a little bit more focused. And it was immediate. I think within the first year, I had turned everything around. I stopped fighting. I went from a D- student. I was hitting straight A's. So I was like the poster child of why karate is good. And I've been in it my entire life. So I've been with Northern Karate like my entire life. So I started when I was 8, and I'm 41, turning 42, and I've trained every single year. So. Yeah.
So this is what because I failed grade 4. So for those of you, my parents did not put me in karate, although I'm not in jail. And Dominic is the poster child. So keep that up. That's totally awesome. You know why? Because most people would think, okay, I've got somebody who's having challenges and kind of. Do I put them in karate so they can actually kill somebody, or do I put them in karate? And karate actually it's taught the other way. You're taught not to use that if I know.
Exactly. I mean, that's the biggest misconception, is that karate is going to make people more violent, but it's exactly the opposite. It pretty much, like anything that you have, like as far as an issue with kids, it sort of helps. So for example, if I'm very aggressive, it makes me a little bit more passive. If I'm shy, it gets me more outgoing. If I'm unfocused, it'll focus me. So that's the biggest thing. So yeah, I had really good parents that were able to realize that. So.
Cool. Now, I'm assuming you put on classes for kids. Tell us kind of what you offer here for people.
So we have classes for kids, I mean, as young as 2.5, 3. It just depends on the individual. But usually 4 is like a great age for our kids to get started. And I've taught as old as 75 as like the starting point. So, yeah.
I got time to work out, and I'll come back. I'll come back see you when I'm 75. I got about 20 years. You'll catch me out. Okay. So now, so tell us the belts. I've always got the belts. I know black belt is the top, right? But what's the belt colors?
So different schools have different belt colors. So the way our belt system works is we start off at white. Most schools will start off at white. Then as you sort of progress in the belts, it just gets darker as the belts go up. So we go white, yellow, orange, green, blue, purple, brown, black is usually the way the belts run.
Okay, I got a black belt, but I bought it at Sears, so I don't think it's going to count. Anyway, so now let's talk about Kimberly. Remember, this is video. so what kind of student is she really? Because it's video.
I mean, Kimberly is, she's already starting with a lot of amazing assets. I know she's really strong, and, she's really like motivated. So it's easy to work with a student when they're very focused and wanting to come in and improve. The biggest things that we work with Kimberly, I mean, she's super strong anyway. It's more the mental game that I'm trying to push her. So, if there's sort of limitations or stuff that she doesn't want to do, I force her to do it. And also, just working on the anaerobic endurance. So, I mean, she's very fit. She's doing a lot of stuff, but I just try to put her into situations that she's not sort of used to. So that's what we just try to do, just to make her training a little bit more uncomfortable is what I like to do.
Now, how do you know what to train her? Are you designing the program, like the exercises? Are you familiar with Seal Fit, or is she bringing in the exercises and you're just kind of making sure she completes it?
So she's basically told me a little bit about what the type of stuff that she has to accomplish. I mean, with a program like Seal Fit, the one thing I understand is if you can do 200 push-ups, they're going to make you do 400 push-ups. Okay. So to me, it's more of a mental game. So you can only prepare so much physically, but I think the mental aspect is probably the part that needs the most work in that. So, I mean, she has the skill, but it has to be that don't give up attitude. And she has that, and we're just trying to push the limits of that.
Are you able to see the top boundary? So I know Kimberly from her history, because we've known each other for a few years, has had some I'm going to call, I don't know, breakages, whatever you call them. Like you've had some uh, issues as far as, so when that happens, how do you know how far to push somebody? It's kind of like a hockey player, right? They break their ankle. Do you let them skate? Do you tape it up and let them skate, or do you actually get them to a doctor? How do you decide where?
So, I mean, I'm of the mentality that there's always a way to train. So, if you have a wrist injury, we've got legs that we can use, so there's always a way to sort of get around certain things. But as far as limits and stuff go, I'll just come up with an exercise in my head that I just feel like is something that's really like tough and hard to accomplish. And then I'll just put it forward and I'll just get her doing that. And then when she starts to reach that limit, I'll push her a little bit more just to sort of get beyond that. Because the whole goal is that every time she's coming in for class, we just want her to be better than she was the last time. And for us, it's more the mental game that's where it's at. And once she gets into the understanding that she can accomplish these things, I'm hoping that when it comes time to actually participate in the seal fit, that's going to be where I sort of provide the assistance.
Okay, so now I go to the gym, probably not like her, but I go to the gym, and I'm used to seeing weights. I don't see any weights in here. In fact, I think I see knives over there. I'm not sure if that's true, but there's like nothing here. So what do you train on? Is it all body weight style contact?
So we do a lot of body weight. Like a lot of the training that we do is gearing towards becoming a better martial artist. So a lot of the body weight type of stuff is what we want to do. But we do have kettlebells, or we have some small free weights. We have battle ropes, like chin up bars. Like we'll just use different exercises like that. But for the most part, it's a lot of like body weight and anaerobic endurance.
Okay. Do you wish you can see her at this event? Because she was just saying that you're not allowed to go in. But what are you going to be doing that day to help support her mind wise?
Probably praying. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I mean, I'm not even the slightest bit worried. I know that going into the event, if she had to do it tomorrow, I know she would be 100% confident and successful. So I'm just going to be waiting to hear the results. I'll wait the 24 hours and find out how she did after that.
Are you making kind of a mixtape for her to play in her head that the whole night before when she's sleeping, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it? Are you into that kind of stuff?
Well, the one thing that we try to do is to get her mind off of things is to just try to think of other stuff. So one thing we said is like trying to think of like music or humming music. I know with certain activities, she went with playing music to just sort of get out of her head of any sort of mental blocks that she can have. But it's going to be a lot of eye of the tiger for sure.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, I hope she runs up these stairs afterwards, and does the whole Rambo thing, I guess. Anyway, thank you so much. Where do we find out more about your school? How do people sign out for your courses?
The easiest thing to do is Google a search for Northern Karate Schools, and you'll find we have 14 schools in Toronto that you'd be able to look at. We're the Thornhill, North York location, but there are many amazing schools in Toronto that you'd be able to go to.
And so, I think you're like you said, you're the poster boy for it. That getting kids involved in this early is a great way to kind of stem some of those. My solution was to just put all kids to sleep from 12 and to wake them up at 25. They somehow magically have their degrees and they're grown up and all of that. Yours is probably more practical, right?
Yeah, potentially probably a little bit more practical. I mean, yours might be a little bit easier to deal with, but no. That's just me. I just like that sort of thing.
Well, thanks very much, Dominic, for being on the team, and thanks very much for supporting Kimberly. And I know that she's talked highly of you and talks highly of the school. So I would encourage anybody to come out and visit you, and we'll all be rooting for Kimberly, right?
Oh, definitely, most definitely.
Team Kimberly. There you go. Thanks very much, man.